How is it going, folks? Welcome back to Rugby Town and welcome back to Park to Prem. We are already in March, my friends. Since last episode, I have played 13 matches. Today, we're hopefully going to seal the title and get promoted. With that, I'm praying, we will actually be able to sign players onto proper contracts. And as well as all of that, we have also today got our youth intake where we could have a very good striker. And after that, I'm going to continue to play. And today we will be ending season number 2. Plenty to catch you up on, lots to look forward to. Let's run the intro and get straight into things. Today, by the way, is episode number 10 of Park to Prem. I hope you guys are enjoying the series. If you are, drop a like on the video. Likes have been a little low lately. We've not been breaking 2,000. I reckon we can get 4,000. Make it happen. Feed the algorithm. Like I said, it's a bit of a jam-packed episode today with a fair bit going on. And our last episode, of course, we took on Lytown, who were in second, and then Boldmere St. Michael's. 2 okay results. We avoided defeat in them. Since then, we have clicked. And I don't want to say it too loudly. We've actually learned how to defend. Yeah, who would have thought if you put your wing-backs on defend, you concede less? What a revolutionary idea. It has made the recent run of 13 games a little bit more straightforward than perhaps I expected. I will run through these 13 games real quick, starting with Sporting Calcer. I assume a Sikh football club based on the iconography. What food is that? Is it a food or a lion? I think it's a lion. I thought it was chicken nuggets at the bottom of their logo. No idea. Answers on a postcard, please. But anyway, we beat them 7-1. We then beat Walsall Wood and then a big game against Stafford Rangers. They were our nearest rivals, second in the league behind us. We took them on, and in this game here, we won 4-2. In truth, we were the better team in this game. Jake Hartright with a double in this game, and Jovel Jackson Davis. You might remember he was a player who kind of found himself on the bench with Mooney at the club. Mooney's loan expired. Jackson Davis came back into the team. He's been very, very blooming good, this guy. He really has stepped up in this second half of the season. Back in the first team, 9 goals, 7 assists, 7.42 rating as well. Now, it might seem a little bit premature to say, but with that result there, I believe we went 10 points clear at the top. And at that point, I felt fairly assured that the title was on. And with that, I just continued to play lots of Football Manager. A sea of green ratings here. We did draw 4-4 against bottom of the table Deeping Rangers. I think that game and then Cambridge City was what inspired me to go with the defensive wing-backs, the change in that duty to make them sit back. And from there, we have been much better. Breshley Rovers we beat 3-0. Shepstead 5-4. That is the last time we've conceded more than 2 goals in a game. Since then, 6 games, only 1 clean sheet, but plenty of goals. And as you can see, it is just a continual sea of green, which finally finished with this result here against local rivals, our main opposition, Bedworth United. We beat them 2-0. And in truth, it has just been a really good season. I appreciate that I could have dragged out this season with loads and loads of away days, but when we're stomping through teams like we are, I'm just keen to get into the next season, especially after our FA Cup run. Very conscious we are going to have to step it up next year. As dominant as this is, and I mean it really is, 127 goals scored in 32 games. We're almost averaging 4 goals a game. But in spite of that, the next step up is going to be more difficult. We are currently 18 points clear at the top of the table. There are 18 points left on offer. That means that against God Manchester Rovers at home, if we were to win this game or draw this game, or if Boldmere St. Michael's, we beat last episode, fail to win, we will be crowned champions today with, 5 games to spare? So that would be nice to do. Just looking at some of the player stats here, Rio is top goal scorer. 30 goals to his name in 32 games. He has been absolutely top draw for us as our main striker. Apparently hasn't been doing well in training lately. And to be fair, when you look at his average ratings, he's actually been on one of his worst runs of form. Why have I not been criticising his form? I'm going to criticise it. Now, you can do better, mate. He's going to score today now, I'm sure. Most assists, by the way, in the league, Miles Maycock. He is playing absolutely superb on the pitch. 12 assists, 5 goals in his last 20 games. The 17-year-old, that product of our youth academy, contracted to 2027. And if we confirm our promotion, or at least I thought if we confirmed our promotion, we got another year on his contract. Turns out that's not the case. if we can start offering players full-time or rather part-time deals again where we pay them a wage, he's probably the first person whose contract I need to renew. Just in some other team news, a few of the old guard players who were here when we joined the club have announced their retirements. Liam Francis, our assistant manager and centre-back, is packing his bags at the end of the year. I say he's packing his bags. He's moving into the assistant's room permanently. He will still be here. And elsewhere, David Kolodinsky, who of course is a club legend in real life, at the age of 36, has announced his retirement. Hasn't been getting near the first team lately. At 36 years old, he has dropped off a little bit. So probably a wise time to call it quits. And if you were wondering, Jack, have you signed anyone since last episode? You know, it's been a while. No, I've actually been very restrained after the signing of Tyler Brook from Lye Town, who has not played very much. In fact, he's played 3 games for us. I haven't signed anyone else. Of course, he left us to join Lye Town as we took them on last episode. Lye Town at the time were in 2nd. You might have spotted it earlier. Lye Town now down in 6th. In fact, they are battling for the playoffs, but they really have dropped off. It's almost as if losing their top goal scorers hurt them. Anyway, that is you all caught up. I appreciate that the jump between kind of December and March feels like a significant one. The reality is, at this level, you are only really playing 3 to 4 games a month if you get knocked out of cup competitions like we did. So with that in mind, it has meant that the strain on the squad hasn't been that intense. It's one of the reasons why, really, I've not felt a need to sign anyone. In terms of team news going into today's game, no injuries to speak of. Roger Lee is on international duty with Bermuda, so he's not available. I'm sure he's had a lovely time basically on holiday. So it does mean that when it comes to the starting 11, it's a familiar look. Jackson Davis, McAvoy, and also Gillen rounding up the front 3. In the midfield, it is still Maycock and Kelly. Talked about Maycock earlier. Kelly's not had quite the same standout season at centre mid, but nevertheless, at 17 years old, I mean, he's got double figures for goals and assists. My standards are just too high here, aren't they? And at the back, you might have noticed we have got Dutton and Azam. We have not changed our fullbacks through this year. I really have just stuck with these 2 guys. They fit the team well. Since the switch to wingbacks on defend, we've been a bit more solid at the back. And alongside them, of course, we've got Watts and Cartwright in goal. Cartwright up to 18 goals for the season from centre-back. I'll maintain he is a cheat code. And good old Oven Gloves is in goal. Yeah, I think I want to replace him this summer if there's some options out there. The reason I have come back for this game is because ultimately, even if Bromsgrove win, a draw here is enough to secure the title. We want to see a trophy hoisted aloft, but with a youth intake and the end of season wrap up to come up, it's probably going to be more of a recappy game, this one. In case you've not been able to put it together yet, there will be a transfer special tomorrow. That's another exciting thing to look forward to. I am desperately praying that with us getting promoted and securing the title, fingers crossed, touchwood, it'll happen today, we will have the ability to offer players part-time contracts again. That really did limit our transfer movement last year. Something that I need to do this summer is bring in some more quality. The step up between these lower divisions can be quite vast, but the ability to attract players, especially when you climb up a league, it can feel like quite a big shift in the players you can attract. I'm hoping that with promotion here and the money I've been saving up, which I've not really made a point about, I've been saving lots of money, we will be able to capitalise on things just like Paddy Watts has capitalised on that corner there. Dutton whipping the ball in, far post. If you thought Cartwright was going to get there, no, he didn't jump high enough. Him and Watts were fighting to steal the goal off one another. Watts has got it. Maycock in the midfield. I've bigged him up all episode, then he gives away the ball there. God Manchester, by the way, a team promoted last year. They've actually been a very, very, well, so I want to say they've been a very, very surprising package. As a smaller club, they've not looked out of depth at this level, and certainly in this game here, they're not making it easy for us. I was about to say it's 1-0 at the break. It might not be 1-0 at the break. It's not 1-0 at the break. I almost uttered the clean sheet word. I mean, the clean sheet's gone. I can say it now. I'm sure there are some Rugby Town purists out there thinking, only 1-1 at half-time. Get the wing-backs off defend. I miss the good old rugby. I feel like we need to come up with a sustainable tactical approach, and the shift to wing-backs on defend has felt like that a little bit. I'm going to tell the players it's totally unacceptable. Let's not bottle the title today. I don't want to have to do another match in this video. A Boldmere St Michael's winning. They're winning 3-0, although a draw would be enough if I've done the maths correctly, which I think I've done the maths correctly. If I haven't, that would be awkward. I think a draw is enough, but naturally, you want to win the title with a win, don't you? You don't want to stumble across the line. You want to win it with a goal like that from Sam Kelly. He's got double figures for goals and assists. He's got another goal there. The 17-year-old, a product of our youth intake last year. Of course, we're looking forward to this year's youth intake. I'm not expecting it to match things. He's hit it first time and he's lobbed the keeper from about 25 yards out. That is sensational. Have just made a couple of changes to bring in fresh legs. There's 15 minutes left here. A draw will be enough. I have just double-checked that. And with 10 minutes left here, we have been in control in this half. I think they've had one shot gone, Manchester, in the second half. Yes, we've not quite been at our best going forward. Yes, it is looking like that Kelly Wonder goal is going to be the difference maker. But a win is a win. I don't care how we do it. And for the first time in this year's Park to Prem, we get to enjoy a trophy ceremony. It's not the most glamorous of stadiums to do it in. It's not a packed stadium, as you look at all the empty seats and the empty terrace stand behind. But nevertheless, let's spend half our transfer budget for next year on fireworks. Let's drink it in. Let's hoist that trophy aloft. Rugby Town 2, God Manchester 1. And that, my friends, is our first promotion of hopefully many in this save game. The red confetti falls. I don't know why we're wearing our home kit, or our away kit at home. I have noticed that happens often when we play against teams in kind of blues and whites. I think it's because we have white in our home kit. Anyway, I'm going off topic here. The away coloured confetti falls. We win the league. Yay, and more confetti. Where is this confetti falling from? Rugby Town are crowned champions. We do it with 5 games to spare. The board are delighted, and rightfully so. It's a proud day for the fans. The board have set the budgets for next year. Wage budget of 3.6 thousand. Transfer budget of 30,000. At this level, that is hefty. And I did mention the finances last game. This is something that I mentioned maybe briefly in passing in previous episodes, but we've been actually making money ever since we came into the club. You might remember when we came in last year, the club was spending about £3,000 a week on wages. This year, we've been spending less than £1,700, and that combined with, the pretty big game against Scunthorpe in the FA Cup has meant that we've actually built up a really healthy bank balance. For a team at this level, to have a positive bank balance is, unusual. To have a bank balance of 161,000 is really nice. Naturally, if I do look to start spending this wage budget, which we probably should be looking to spend, assuming we can offer part-time deals, we're probably not going to be making this kind of money for much longer. That said, you can see during that intermission, I have asked for a new contract. We have asked to increase the junior coaching budget and the youth recruitment, both of which have been improved. And actually, yeah, it was half a grey star and now it's 3 grey stars. We are actually slowly but surely improving some of the infrastructure, reinvesting that money smartly. Hopefully that's going to help the club long term. So I am now hoping that if I hit continue, we get our youth. We get our youth intake. Okay, well, it looks good. We'll come on to this in a moment. But the thing I was going to say is I hope that if I hit continue and I go and look at a player and enter contract negotiations, I can offer part-time deals. It doesn't look like I can do that yet. I hope we can offer part-time deals next year. Otherwise, we're in trouble. Anyway, we can go straight into the youth intake. Hit continue once after winning the league. The youth intake's here, and it looks quite good. I say quite good. There's lots of high potential here. There's some decent current ability as well. Anyway, here is the youth intake, starting off with the goalkeeper, Tom Martin. I think we'll look at players with a 1.5 current ability or higher. Just as a reminder, the potential ability, it's kind of impossible to know how good the potential really is, because potential is relative to the rest of your squad, and given how low our current ability of our entire team is, 5-star could literally mean anything. Tom Martin in goal here, not a bad player. Probably not going to be running into the first team straight away. Low self-belief personality isn't great, but could be a good backup option. We've got Giovanni McCulloch. I hope I've said that name correctly. I say that like I can offend him and he's a real person. Looks like a good player, fairly even-footed, super consistent, some nice physicals for this level at 15 years old. Could be a good player. Not quite Sam Kelly good, mind you. And then we get on to the really exciting players. Players with 2-star current ability. We've got a Saudi Arabian player in our intake called Jamie Gardner. He can play right back, right mid, centre mid. It's a weird mix of positions. He's aggressive, he's brave, he has no physicals whatsoever, but he does work hard. I mean, what do you do with him? He's one of those players that has current ability, but I actually don't know if he suits any role. He's a bit of a freak. Next player up, Harrison Jones. This guy looks really good, and then I've noticed he's inconsistent, really inconsistent, and also injury prone. He is, however, a really good, well-rounded centre mid option, especially for this level. Appreciate if you've never gone down this low, you kind of look at 8s and 7s and wince a little bit. Actually, 8s are quite good for this level, and at 16 years old, he could have some serious potential. The final of the youth intake players we've got, the one who was bigged up the most before the intake, is Joe Chambers. And immediately I've looked at the technicals and got very, very giddy and excited. As you look to the right and look at everything else, maybe slightly less exciting. Physical's lacking, but oh my word, those technicals, that finishing, he could be a really, really good striking option at this level. Rio here, of course, has been our top goal scorer. If we just compare him with Joe Chambers, yeah, Joe is maybe not quite as well-rounded and maybe could do with improving a little bit here, there, and everywhere. But at 16 years old, I will probably try and give him some minutes before this season is over. Like I said, it's always difficult to judge these youth intakes because it's hard to know exactly what this potential really means. If we look at, the players with the current highest potential in the team and mouse over it, it's just a superb rating for the senior team. Of course, if we look at players currently in our first team, Maycock has 5-star ability and 5-star potential. So it means that all the players could be as good as Maycock, but then Maycock could also still get way, way better. So, good current ability for a few of the players. I'll probably sign a fair few of them this year because, as a reminder, last year, our under-18s team actually joined a proper division. Ignore the fact that we are currently rock bottom of our division. With these new reinforcements, maybe we won't be the worst under-18s team in the world. Okay, that youth intake was pretty good. Joe Chambers and Harrison Jones, the latter two players I showed, my staff do think could play in the first team, so I will almost certainly sign them up. With that in mind, there are 5 games left of the season. The title's wrapped up. I'm going to go play those games. I'll join you in a mo for the end of season wrap-up so that we're all ready for a transfer special tomorrow. I'm not going to panic just yet, but it's the 28th of April. All the Club Vision stuff has come in for the new season. 2 problems. Firstly, the board want to build a new stadium. I don't know if we have the money for a new stadium. And also, I still can't offer players part-time deals. And I don't want to alarm anyone. There is a big chunk of my first team that have contracts expiring at the end of, at the end of June, and it's now the end of April. If I remember correctly, the point at which I was no longer able to offer players part-time deals was in May, so fingers crossed that's going to resolve itself. Otherwise, we might be looking for a move elsewhere. If there was a time to move clubs, it would be at the end of the year. I'm looking through the list of teams here. There's not that many particularly inspiring options. Anyway, at least for now, we're going to focus on things here at Rugby Town. Here is the club vision for the coming season. Nothing too crazy going on, although I will say the board have decided they're very cultured all of a sudden with loads of different things they want here. Worth noting, next year, they want a top half finish in the Regional Premier Division. Have no idea how difficult or easy that's going to be until really the promotion is made official and we get the media prediction for next year through. Squad dynamics, the players love me. Worth noting that both our team leaders are retiring at the end of the year, so maybe a small concern there. Players are on their end of season break until the 23rd of June, and Sahota's got some interest in him. His contract's up in a few months, and perhaps more importantly, and perhaps this is the thing I'm most scared about, Miles Maycock, currently unhappy at the club, wants to move to a club with a stronger squad. What I will say is, he's contracted here for the next 2 years. He's currently valued at up to £160,000. Do wonder if we might see some interest in him. If we look at his improvements so far during his first, year at the club, it's kind of crazy how much he's improved for a player who only has part-time training. Of course, he's been getting loads and loads of first-team football, playing very well. I feel like that does help with his development. But yeah, his actual improvements over the course of this year, way beyond my expectations. And to end the season, I did give a couple of the players from the youth intake that we just had some first-team football. Joe Chambers got a handful of games, got a goal and an assist, then got injured. And Harrison Jones, who I was particularly excited about, he broke his arm. He's out for 7 weeks, potentially. Knew he was going to be really injury-prone, breaking his arm within 3 games. Not exactly ideal. The board have announced plans to find a new stadium. They're looking for possible investors. Apparently, it's an old venue, Butlin Road, with high maintenance cost, and the board felt it would be beneficial to build a new one. Why does this terrify me? Ultimately, at this point now, I'm just mashing continue for the end of season kind of wrap-up summary thing to pop up, because I think that might be the point, and I'm not entirely sure, but it might be the point at which I can then offer players part-time deals upon our promotion kind of being made official. Obviously, we can sustain ourselves as a team only offering non-contracts to players, but it will mean that this summer we lose a big core of our team. Players like Rio McAvoy, who I absolutely intend to keep around, will not sign with me. Unless I can offer them part-time deals. He has now changed his mind, although if he wants to stay around on a non-contract, he wants £500 a game, which I literally cannot afford. I mean, based on that being his demands just as an appearance fee, if I even want to give him a wage, if that becomes an option in the near future, might still not be able to afford it. Cameron Healy, who did play a role in our first team this year, although I do view him as a player who's somewhat dispensable. His contract was a non-contract all year. Now he's getting some interest from Goulston. I almost feel like I downplayed it earlier. Our youth intake this year was very, very good. All the players I've signed are on non-contract deals. Ultimately, I do want to get some security. Players like Harrison Jones, who of course has got injured. Players like Joe Chambers. Players like Jamie as well. I desperately want to get on proper contracts sooner rather than later, because at the moment, anyone could come along and just snap them up for nothing. Dutton wants a new deal and he feels he's underpaid. He's currently on £50 a week. How much does he want? Can I even offer him a part-time deal? Has the game updated? I can offer him a part-time deal. He wants £190. I'll give him 150. I'll give him 150, 160, 160. Come on, James, you're being ridiculous. 160, 170. He might not be the best player when it comes to star ratings, but he is a vital part of our team. So the fact I could offer him a part-time deal on this completely arbitrary date, it has to be said, does that now mean that I can offer other players these kind of deals? Callum Gillen, you have been sensational for us. He wants £475 a week. He's currently on £90 a week. The most I can offer is £350. After all this worrying about keeping players around at the end of their contracts and waiting for me to be able to offer part-time deals, I'm beginning to face the reality there's probably going to be a massive turnover in players anyway. I mean, Miles, I know you're unhappy, but would a new contract wouldn't cheer him up? I mean, the good news is I can now extend players' contracts, so we should be able to keep some players. The bad news is I think players like Rio, players like Gillen, I'm not going to be able to keep around, and because their contracts are up, it's not like I can sell them for anything now. I mean, Hilton, you've been a good backup option for us. You only want to be a future prospect. You want a non-contract. Mate, I'll give you a part-time deal. I'll pay you £20 for the love of the game to be a backup for another season. How does that sound? He loves it. I love the contrast between Hilton wanting £20 a game, and then you've got players like Gillen who want £400 a week. I'm fine. Sam Kelly, new contract. Can I get him on like £200? It'd be very good if I could. How about, this might be silly. Sam Kelly, I want to sign you on a long-term deal, mate. I'll pay you £180 for a 3-year deal with an optional 3-year extension. How does that sound? Some will say I'm overpaying, but ultimately, to keep around Kelly, especially if we are going to lose Maycock, I think is probably worth just giving him the big bucks for. He is a very, very good player for us. If anyone's wondering, Jack, why is it on the 5th of May you can now offer part-time deals? No idea what's significant about this date. It feels completely random. That is Football Manager at these lower levels. I mean, if I'm focusing mostly on free transfers, I suppose I don't really need the transfer budget, do I? We could add like another £500 a week to the wage budget. Definitely gonna have some money to spend this summer, so that's something to look forward to. Rio wants a new contract. Rio, I want to give you a new contract. You know what? I'll make a contract. I'll give you a deal. How much are you going to ask for, though? Your contract's up in 2 months. You're our best player. You're currently on £95 per week. Important player. He wants £525. I cannot pay that, can I? I mean, I literally cannot afford it. Even if I rejigged the budgets, would I be allowed to offer more? I could go up to £400, which he may well be worth paying, but £400, 10% of my wage budget on him. I love the bloke. I think he's absolutely incredible, but I also do feel like there's probably going to be other players out there that are of a similar ability for a more affordable price. Why can't you be more like Sam Kelly and just ask for like 180 for a 6-year deal? Why can't you be like him? I think what I'll do is I'll offer the £400. I'm not going to negotiate really hard here. He only wants a 1-year contract as well. The issue that I've got is I've promised him a new contract. So with that in mind, he's now expecting me to make him an offer. Mate, I can pay you £400 and not a penny more. I'm really sorry. £400 for Rio. Is that crazy? Is that silly? I almost feel like it'd be silly not to renew the contract of my top goal scorer. The fact it's a 2-year deal at least gives me the possibility of selling him on down the line, and we're not losing him for nothing. Does make me question, should I have tried to pay more for Gillen, to keep Gillen around as well? Could these two be our dream striking duo? If they are going to be our dream striking duo, I'm going to have to hope that Gillen has a change of heart and decides he does want to stay. Okay, with all that contract shenanigans over and done with, we are now officially at the end of the 2024-25 season, a season where we won the league, and, well, Tyler Brook. Interesting signing. No idea why he's the first highlighted. He did not play well, but Wakaza Zam was our signing of the season, a man who's currently unhappy because he wants a wage rise. He's got 1 more year left at the club. We had him on loan last year. We brought him in on a free. He has been pretty blooming good at left back, right back. Pretty good at right back. It's been here a year and a half. Still don't know what position he plays. If you're wondering who made it out of the playoffs, it was Stafford Rangers. In spite of the fact they finished 5th, the team that were predicted to finish 2nd did get through the gauntlet of the playoffs. In terms of our seasonal performance, very, very good stuff here. Rio McAvoy, top goal scorer, A+ from the board. That's a nice change after last year. In terms of the finances this year, you can see we did make significantly more off matchday commercial and retail income. That is almost entirely down to the FA Cup game against Scunthorpe. Didn't feel that significant at the time, but going away from home, playing in front of thousands of fans in a competition where the money is split evenly really did help us out. We won Manager of the Month on 4 occasions. Callum Gillen was given Fans Player of the Season and Young Player of the Season. He may not have been the top goal scorer, but he was absolutely ridiculous for us. I think I am going to have to try and sign him on a £400 a week deal, a bit like McAvoy, even if it's just to prevent losing him on a free. I would like to think that between McAvoy and Gillen, we have 2 players here who can actually make the step up to the regional Premier Division. If we just look at their current ability, you can see here they've got leading regional Premier Division ability. And in fact, in the case of McAvoy, good Vanarama National South/North player, which of course is 2 levels above us. So really, these 2 guys probably are worth paying the big bucks for. If you trust star ratings, that is, which I don't always. So, but I think on this occasion, they're probably right. Most assists went to Miles Maycock, who is not signing a new deal at the moment. I'm going to hope he changes his tune over the summer, although he is still contracted for the next 2 years. When it comes to record breakers, it's just all McAvoy. Probably justifies the £400. Mostly goals by a player, most goals in a match, most goals by a player in a league match. He broke loads of records. David set the record for most appearances by a player, 439. He's retiring at the end of the year. What a servant he's been to Rugby Town FC. Clap the man into the clubhouse on the final game of the season where he may not have actually played. Let's not ruin the moment. David, we salute you. You may have noticed here, he does have staff attributes. He's actually a pretty good scout. Do you want to be a scout? He actually wants to be a scout. He wants quite a lot. Can I give you a 2-year deal? I'll pay you £100 to be our main scout, David. He really wants the big bucks. David, you were never this greedy before. £140 to keep him around. I'll tell you what, in terms of scouts at this level, he's actually really, really, really good. So, yeah, David, you can stay. Here is the current Rugby Town overall best 11. They are adopting last year's system still, which does upset me slightly to look at. And for all their hard work this year, perhaps the most pitiful bonus ever. Between our whole squad and staff, £3,000 will be shared. We're generous here at Rugby Town. Okay, so the good news is we have been promoted, and on top of all of that, perhaps the most important thing, I can actually offer part-time deals now for our players, which was a big concern of mine. Should make the squad building easier going into next year, but maybe going to make the dilemmas a little bit harder. We have really operated on a shoestring budget this year. We've kind of had the minimal viable product in terms of the wages we're spending in order to make it out of this division. The wage budget has more than doubled, and with that in mind, signed players are going to want more money. Might help us attract some slightly better players as well. So I think the squad will have a new look by the end of the summer coming up. Of course, transfer specials to follow. But the good news is for the likes of Maycock and Kelly and McAvoy, they are definitely going to be around next year, and they were big parts of our success this year. So it's a big relief. Cartwright, of course, still contracted to 2029. He ended the year with 19 goals. Yeah, he got a goal every other game as a centre-back. I'm going to say it again, it's on the bingo card if you're watching the regular. Cheat code. Amusing little bug, by the way, here. For some reason, when you have a long award name, like the Northern Premier League Division 1 Midlands Top Goalscorer Award, the headline just displays as blank. But I can confirm that Rio was the top goal scorer, and he was also the Player of the Year. Yeah, I mean, according to our staff, he's a Vanarama National North and South player. He's playing 2 divisions below that. I think that kind of showed with some of his performances this season. Oh, I didn't realise this. Callum Gillen has a contract extension after promotion. So he's here to the end of next year on £90 a week. I'll tell you what, Callum, sucks to be you. I was about to give him £400 a week. I'm an idiot. I am an idiot. Thank you, Football Manager, for bailing me out. Slightly less good news. Avondale's got another year on his contract, although another year on £100. Tell you what, Past Jack really was thinking about the long-term plan. We've got Gillen for another year. But my genius outstands me even now. I continue to surprise myself. I can't even speak. That's how genius I am. If you have enjoyed today's episode, like I mentioned at the top of things, drop a like on the video. Helps out massively. Next time out, transfer special. I'll see you guys for that one. It's me, Jack. I'll talk to you all in a bit. I'm out.